Hello and welcome to another League of Legends replay. So today we're going to be showing you how to come back when you get really far behind. And basically what happens is in this game is we get really far behind, and the first thing that we don't do that, which is great, and you should definitely try to do to just make your gameplay more pleasant, is not raging. So like we get like pretty upset, but like we just don't rage. Like we're like, oh, this sucks. We're just getting crushed here. But you know, we don't start yelling at each other, we don't start getting mad at each other, and that really helps. And you know, we just start playing together, so we're still working out some of the kinks and like having good communication. So like, you know, that's gonna change a lot as we play. But yeah, that's what's gonna happen in this game. Basically, I might have spoiled a little bit, but even in the title, you can see that the idea is to show you what are some things that you can do to come from behind. And Fiddles is a great champion, and Kennen are both great champions because they have great AoE, so they are able to help come from behind. So our team comp is good for that. Although there's certainly obvious some drawbacks. So I don't know that you should always pick champions where you think you're going to play from behind. Alright, so let's just get this started. Gonna speed it up a little bit, so just get this game started. So I'm just doing my jungle, and Fiddles is nice because he can jungle without taking any damage, basically. As you can see here, I'm still getting harassed by creeps, but his life drain lets him just heal up, so he doesn't take any damage. And I'm thinking about doing an early gank top. And I'm just going to discuss the lanes real quick. It's a 2v1, so basically what needs to happen in a 2v1 is you need to either zone the top lane, and conversely, if they're the bottom lane, they need to zone the bottom lane. Or you need to push down this tower. So you have to decide what you want to do, and you can't do both. You have to choose one or the other. Here I'm thinking about ganking, and I haven't leveled up my Q yet, so that's what I'm just thinking about. I just run in to see if I can get it, and it's like pretty dangerous because there's all these creeps here. So they're going to do a lot of damage, and we lose XP and stuff like that for that. But it's okay. It's like, obviously it wasn't the right play. And I tried to dodge that, and I don't think my reaction time was fast enough to dodge that. So Lulu's not putting out wards for some reason. Let's see what she started. She has wards, so she should put them down. I'm just waiting for her to come in and to put down these so I can put down wards. So I take too much damage. I needed to life drain right away. As you can see, it was like pretty close. And she flashes and gets the double buff and gets the double kill. So that was just poor execution on my part. I think he said that when we were playing that he didn't know that I had gone in. So if we had coordinated that better, where we both went in, I think you saw how low Lulu got. If she got stunned and I feared and used my Dark Wind right away, we would have had enough damage to secure this fight. So I think it was the right decision, but the execution was just poor. So I mean, I guess it was the wrong decision in that sense. Okay. As far as what items I get, I should have gotten my GP10 item here, and I messed up again with this gank, but luckily we get away. And I get a night off, so that was fine. Like I didn't use any summoners, and they went like as hard as they could. So I went a little bit too far, so I took too much damage, but otherwise it was okay. But like I did mess up, obviously, in that part. So again, discussing his items, I should have gotten my GP10 instead of the boots. After I get GP10, I want to get the Sork Pen boots. So that's the tier 2 boots for mages. It's really good on Fiddlesticks. You know, getting Magic Pen is very good. And we saw Nocturne coming up here, so we ping and we tell them that they're going to dive. It was pretty obvious that's what they want to do in this lane. But you know, I tried to come in and save them. And I didn't have flash, so like I couldn't flash on and fear Kate, and I have to stand really far back because they can totally dive me. I'm just trying to get a little bit of XP, and I don't think they can actually push the towers. So I'm just staying here, making sure that they don't push too hard. Kennen comes, and I fear again, and again I take way too much damage. So that was my mistake. I was just chronically underestimating how much damage they can deal to Fiddles. So like again, once I got hit by all 3 pokes, it just like took me to less than half health. It was pretty bad. I'm trying to hold this tower so that they can't steal it. but you can see there's no way we can hold it. So I was just trying to use Dark Winds and try to CS a little bit under the tower, but it's totally gone. Here I see Cho'Gath coming in, so you gotta, when you're playing against Cat, you gotta watch out for traps. And unfortunately he steps on one, so we can't get the kill. If I had stepped on that trap, I would have died there to a Kate ulti. So you just have to be a bit more mindful when playing with Kate. And another big problem that I made during this game is when I died early. So making a risky gank with jungles can really punish you in that you can lose your double buff, and then becomes very difficult to jungle. Luckily, I have a resourceless mid champ, so that's something you guys can try in games, is that you can put a resourceless jungler and a mana using, a resourceless mid and a mana using jungler, and that way you can, keep it's like a little bit better to keep the buff on your jungler, although CDR is still very good on resourceless champions, so you still have to consider giving it to mid even if they don't have mana, or vice versa. Like you can play Shyvana, which is a resourceless jungler. She doesn't use mana, and you don't have to worry about whether or not you're gonna get blue buff in if you're not gonna have enough mana to clear all the camps. Fiddles totally does need the blue buff to clear his camps, or otherwise it's really hard. Here, as soon as I hear Nocturnal, I immediately run to mid lane, because I knew that that's where it's gonna go. So if you're playing Nocturne against a Nocturne, you can sort of figure out where he's going to. You can't actually look at on the health bars; it doesn't show you. That'd be cool if you could do that. Like you could just look at the health bars, but it doesn't work that way. I shouldn't have feared there. Like you shouldn't waste spells. Like then it makes it much more dangerous until my fear's up again to do anything. So you should just try to avoid doing that. Don't. A lot of times people just like randomly throw out spells, and you just shouldn't be doing that. She's just trying to zone me from getting last hits, so I probably shouldn't have let her do that so much. Here I just fear her as soon as I see Kennen, and I did a little bit too early, and then I flash, double flash, and so I was just being too aggressive. I should have either gone right away or not gone at all. Like I waited till she got to the tower. I should have ultied right here, and then flash Q'd her, and that would have gotten the kill, I think. Or I should have just not saved the ulti and the Q and then my flash for some other fight. So sometimes when you're being indecisive, you can really make mistakes. So it is important to be analytical and understand what's going on. But you have to use that analysis so that you can work it up to making good split-second decisions. So that's just something you have to work into your gameplay. All right, so I've got my Sork boots and my GP 10 item. And I'm just covering top lane for now. I'm hanging out here because I see that Cho is here, and I went a little bit too early, and the fear didn't go the way I wanted him to. He went back instead of forward, so we couldn't get the kill, but he had to back up for that, so it's okay. And then I'm just clearing this out. We couldn't have gotten Dragon there. I didn't have ulti, so we just couldn't have contested. And you'll notice that as soon as they took this tower, the bot lane went down here. So that's that's what you're supposed to be doing when you do it to the top. If you send your bottom lane top, basically. And I don't really understand why they did it on blue side, because the reason that you do that on purple side is that you can get the Golem advantage, and that's why it's good to have. There's an advantage for being the duo bot lane if you're blue, because you can get this double Golem and be up in experience and gold. So I don't think that was a smart strat to be doing. Like, it just didn't make that much sense, I think. Alright, so continuing on. As you can see, they should be farther ahead, but they're pretty far ahead right now. They're only 12 minutes in. They're like almost 4k gold, over 4k gold up on us, so they're pretty significantly far ahead. So again, as soon as I saw the Nocturnal, I ultied right away, but it actually really screwed us over. I was like too far away to get there in time, and they get a triple kill for free basically, and a tower. So that was just, I should have just saved my ult and not gone in, but I really wanted to save him. So like, it would have been fine if I was a higher level. I would have gotten a kill or two there. But since I don't have any items, as you can see, and they're pretty farmed. Now they're 6k gold up. Then that's just like just gave him free gold, so I shouldn't have done that. It was a mistake on my part. Alright, so speeding it up again. I'm again just trying to get as much gold farm up to my Zhonya's as quickly as possible, and that's really important on Fiddles, because especially when you're behind, because when you ulti in with Fiddles, if they're smart, they'll just focus you and kill you really quick, and you just won't do anything in team fights. So getting that Zhonya's fast is very, very important. Again, we still can't contest any Barons or Dragons, and we're just getting pushed all over the map. So here we can contest this blue buff, so because it's a 4v3. So I steal that and I start life draining Evelynn, but she had her ulti up and we just got screwed. So if I had ulti, it would have been a little better in that fight. I think we would have gotten a couple kills, but it just went terribly wrong. So initially it was a good fight, but we just didn't execute it right. So just a couple mistakes on our part, and then Noct dives really far for some reason, and Easy gets the shutdown and also the kill streak off of Eve. So that's something that let us catch up a lot. They just gave up, like over 800 gold to Easy. So that's something you really don't want to do. Like, you have to close out games, and it's pretty hard to close out games sometimes, but here they just didn't want to do it for some reason. So alright, so here I'm telling Cho'Gath that we're coming to gank him. So at this point you can see it's already initially was 14-3 before they just made a stupid mistake. And this is like, don't expect to be, if they play everything right and you're behind, you're not going to get back in the game. Like, if you do everything right and they do everything right, it's just not possible to get back in the game. So you have to, one, capitalize on the mistakes that they made, and two, be willing to make risky plays to come back in the game. You just have to go for some stuff sometimes. So, you just have to like, do desperate plays sometimes, and sometimes it will work and sometimes it will fail horribly, and you'll think that's even worse, but really you just had to make that play. You had to take the risk and try to go in. I finally should have enough for the needlessly large rod, and I get that as soon as I can. Basically gives me like 80 AP, so as you can see it's like probably like a 30 to 40% damage increase on all my spells, so it's pretty important to get. And I definitely need that Zhonya's ASAP. You can see that they're pushing on the tower. And we see Yorick top, so we say, okay, everyone go in as soon as you can. And I just, we use all our AoE and all that stuff, and we just can't kill them. So at this point we call the surrender vote, because we can't win a 4v5, and we blew everything on them, and we just couldn't kill them at all. So at this point where I was like, okay, whatever, we can't win them all, it's over, GG. But I was like, okay, let's try a little bit longer. Like, we're pretty dispirited at this point, but as you can see, it's only 17 minutes in, so we can't actually call the surrender vote. So I think we probably would have surrendered. That's like a pretty disheartening fight after that. It's pretty depressing. Like as a 4v5, you got, like, we got Kate in that ulti. We got like a bunch of people in our AoE ults, and we couldn't really kill anyone. So that sucks. Here, I don't know what he's doing. They get the free turret, and we want to chase them a little bit because we can get kills here if they overstay their welcome. I think if you had gotten Kate there, she would have died, and she gets out of position here, so she just dies basically. That was a nice rupture by Cho'Gath to secure the kill, and then we get this guy. What is his name? His name, I don't know. Sometimes I can't, like Yorick. Sometimes I forget random champions. And I was like, at this point, I said, okay, like, we just have to go for Baron. Like, we have no choice about it. And like, it was like obviously pretty risky. Like, it could have turned out really poorly, and they decided to push in the inhibitor. But like, we just had to go for Baron. Like, if we didn't take Baron now, they were going to take it, and we would have just lost off of that. So sometimes it sucks, but like, you just have to make these plays sometimes. Maybe we could have sent one back after we saw them push to stop the push. Like, that's like, as you can see how long it's taking it. And we lose Nunu. That's fine. Like, you can see how low everyone was. Easy maybe could have tanked it a little bit, but that would have made it take longer, because Baron, when he autos you, he significantly decreases your damage. So you don't want your AD carries to be tanking it, because it makes it take longer. So anyway, I think the only thing we could have done better there was to, again, send someone back that could have, you know, poked them. So maybe Kennen. Kennen doesn't do that much damage, so we could have sent Kennen back and then saved the inhib and also gotten Baron like that. But again, you can see we're still pretty significantly far behind. We're 6k gold behind. You know, they got this inhib down. And you know, like you can see that Kate has a lot of items. So here's Easy's. You know, Easy got like all these kill streaks, so like that was pretty good. But she's like their team is like very far ahead.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
So you know, we couldn't contest any of these dragons, so they're getting more dragons. Again, this is obviously they could have done if they had, you know, CS'd, made sure that they were CSing properly. Like we wouldn't have had a chance. Like if they got all their CS. But like, you know, sometimes you just have to hope that that's not going to happen and keep playing and try your best. Alright, so here we know that they're, you know, out of position. I finally have Zhonya's, and Kennen is also, oh, not quite. I'm very close to Zhonya's at this point, and Kennen is too, so that's the item that we desperately need to be able to do stuff in team fights, because we're just getting focused and dying without getting our full ulti off. So that's just what I'm waiting for. As soon as I get, you know, the 860 gold, I run back immediately to get Zhonya's. If you're really far behind, you can't contest any of these towers. You usually just have to let them fall. So a lot of times people will try to stick around these towers to defend them, but you can't. They can come from the back and cut you off and then poke it down, and you just can't defend these towers. So yeah. We knew that they were there, but you know, we can't do anything about that. Also, if you try to contest these towers and they just try to, you know, slowly push it, the super minions would push into our base. So you know, it's just not something we can do, unfortunately. So I finally have Zhonya's, and Kennen is pretty close to Zhonya's too. So that'll help a lot in team fights. Easy does a fair amount of damage, and Showa is just built really tanky, which is really helpful in our team fights. So again, we're just trying to close out, or they're just trying to close out, I guess, and we're trying to prevent them from doing that. So, you know, things that you can do, you can not get caught. Another thing that we can do here is, we know that as soon as, for some reason, Nocturne is their initiator. I think York could potentially be the initiator, but Nocturne is the one that's starting their team fights. So as soon as that happens, Kennen and I both know that we can ulti, and also Easy does. So I heard his ulti, and as soon as we had vision of them, I'm like, okay, we can counter this. But Nocturne basically wasted his ulti to go on him, so he shouldn't have used it. You know, he used his stuff needlessly. And I tell everyone, okay, we're going in, and then I run into the back, and I was about to Zhonya's, but I die. So I was trying to get good positioning in my ulti to you know, keep it to do maximum damage, but you know that just didn't happen. I needed to Zhonya's earlier. And here they should have just backed when they could. Easy is great for this. He can just pick off people if you stick around too long. So you know, that's just something that you should keep in mind. And so they get, I think they get aced here. So that was just, they didn't deal with our AoE comp, and if I had survived in that, it would have been even better. Like, they would have just completely died. So I think he's gonna get the kill. Is he gonna get the kill? Yeah. Blue is screwed. She can't get away, and she dies. So a trick with Cho'Gath is you want to cast your Rupture, the knock-up thing, when they're getting into tight spaces. So like, if they're walking down here, once they get to here, you want to cast the Rupture, so they just have less places to move. I missed this, but like, York like randomly tries pushing this. He like TPs there and tries to push it. I don't know why he did that, but like, he also like helps throw this game in our favor. And you know, sometimes that happens too. Like, I've noticed that like when people get ahead, they start trolling and they think that they don't need to try anymore. And that's if like the other team is like a little stubborn, like they can punish you for that. So you should just try to finish out games. You know, you might get bored, like when you're really far ahead, you're like, oh, this isn't a challenge at all. But then you should end the game faster. It doesn't make any sense to make it take longer. But obviously that doesn't make sense. So we're just trying to defend this inhibitor. And that's so we can have a little bit of control over Baron. So you know, that's what we're trying to do here. As Ken and I both, we need to stay a little bit farther back in the fight, so we can initiate, and this time I don't land a great ulti, but it's like okay, and I clear Eve at the end, so we get off some decent AOE, and I think he gets Evelynn here. Oh, not quite. Okay, so we managed to kill Caitlyn, as you saw there, and that was the most important. Caitlyn and Nocturne, because they do a lot of AD damage, so they could have won the game if they had survived. But yeah, so it's, as you can see, like team battles are we're slowly catching up in the team battles, and even though we're like even further behind in gold, we're almost we're at this point we're 8k gold behind. That gold difference is slowly becoming less and less. So we're just trying to farm slowly, and we're trying to get Easy as farmed as possible, because he's going to be the one that can carry us in the game. We're continuing to do that. We cannot contest Baron. That's just not something we can do. We're clearly not strong enough. If I had hit my ulti a little bit better, it'd been a little better position. Last fight we could have won it, but I didn't position it right. So that was a mistake on my part. It's a little hard to position his ult sometimes, so you can mess up pretty poorly. Okay, so just gonna speed up a little bit. Yeah, we can't contest Baron, so we're just sort of like wasting their time. At this point, we want to draw this game out as long as possible, so whenever we see them, we sort of like run a Baron, but we're not gonna really contest it, obviously. So yeah, that's just what we're trying to do. We just like force them off Baron, because you can scare them off Baron pretty easily if you just sort of run at them. It would have been like really hard for us to stop a Baron at this point. Here again, like you can see, like Easy, Ken, and I, we all really need to be like very cautious. Like I in particular need to be like pretty far back. So again, Nocturne ult, Ken and I both, you saw we both went in, and Zhonya's after using our ulti, I shouldn't have run up. I should have just queued whoever I could. So yeah, that was just a mistake on my part. And then this is a great thing about Easy, is he can really clean up kills. So that's just what we're doing. It's going to be an ace again, because the AoE was just plus the Zhonya's was too strong, and they couldn't get to Easy for some reason. I think Nocturne might have ulted on him, but like they just couldn't get him. So we're just taking a tower off this. As you can see, this is the first tower in the game. We haven't taken any towers, and this is the first one we get. And we definitely couldn't have. We possibly could have taken Baron off of this. Why don't I have gold items? They went away. No, come back to me. Okay, I don't know how to turn them back on. So they'll just be off for the rest of the game and deal with it, I guess. So it's just a bigger thing. Maybe no. Nope. Oh my god. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Purple team has slain the dragon.
Forward? Yes! Okay, I figured it out. I'm awesome. And here we, if you can pick up a free dragon, that's great. And we say, okay, really pick it up quickly. We're going to try to contest Baron if they do it. Because we've really gotten a little bit stronger in team fights now, and we're communicating better at this point. Like, so we're slowly starting to, come together as a team, as you can see. I push this out as quickly as I can, and the reason I did that is I needed an item to really increase my strength, and that was Abyssal Scepter. So it's going to be great in team fights. It's going to make Kenan's ulti more powerful, and he's going to get Woda's, so we're going to have all these AoE magic enhancements, and it's going to benefit both Cho'Gath and Easy. So it's really great items for our team to really increase our strength. Easy's got his GA, which is great, because if he ever gets focused, like if he makes a mistake, this lets you not get as punished as badly. So and they even become less willing to do it. It's like if they dive too hard on him, then they're just gonna all die. Like if we focus them right, like they might just all die doing that, and his GA will pop, and we'll be able to clean up the rest of the fight. So getting it on your most important damage dealers is very important in games, I think. Another great thing that you saw that Easy's been doing this game is he's been doing it on his own, and we've also been telling him like to control the lanes, you have to. We've been asking him to like ulti it, because we can't always like if we all ran down here, and you see this, like they could just go to Baron, and you saw that's what they wanted to do. So as soon as Kenan ran down there, they went to Baron, And we were saying, okay, someone that can beat Yorick in a 1v1 can go there, and the rest of us can go to Baron. And so you can see that's their strategy, and a lot of times people will not know what to do. They'll send like 5 here, and that's wrong, or they'll send no one there, and he'll split push in. So as you can see, that's what's happening. It's going to be a 3v4 because Nunu went as well. I'm not sure if he should have went, but as soon as they see us, they run away, and I think they needed to because Cho'Gath can knock them up. So that's just what we're doing. I'm standing over here, so I can ulti if necessary, and as soon as I see it, I run back a little bit so I don't get CC'd, and then go in as quickly as possible. And I didn't really have vision on people, so I didn't know that I should have run forward, and you know, we could have killed Caitlyn off of that, but you know, whatever, you know, it happens. Like I should have just been a little bit more aware in that fight that we could have killed Caitlyn. And we really would like to take Baron at this point. The only problem is that you can see they've pushed our lanes, and if we just go after Baron, this inhib's gonna go down. So I don't know, I think maybe we could have gone after Baron because they were so low, and we do a fair amount of damage, so I think we should have seriously considered that. Luckily Easy doesn't get caught there. That would have been scary if he got bursted down by Caitlyn. And at this point, we're trying to decide what to do. We could have gone to Baron or mid and hit. Let's see. So they still have 1 down. So we don't really have enough time to really do Baron, but we do have for sure enough time to get this tower. And they did that mistake before where I said this: if you're outnumbered or like the other team's really strong, you can't defend this turret, and you just have to accept that. So yeah, as soon as that happens, we run. As soon as we get the turret down, because it would have been too dangerous. We had like a little bit poor positioning. I think we could have won this team fight. It's like a 5v4, 5v3 really. Yorick wasn't really there. So if we turn, but it's like, I think it's pretty difficult to do that, like have good enough communication. And we know that like we know that they know that we're all low, so we're like, okay, we can't all back, because if we do, they're just going to get a free Baron off of that. So we're like, okay, just maybe one person back, or we all go, and we're going to go to Baron. So we're just basically trying to stall it and make them not want to do it. And he Easy ultis, so, and we're just sort of poking at them so they can't do it. So that if we really ran at them, like, it would have been pretty dangerous. But you know, like, we had to let them get low, as you can see. So yeah, we get all the kills off here. So like, they stayed around at Baron too long, and we just were able to poke them down. And here we're thinking about doing Baron, but as soon as we see Eve, we're like, okay, we can't do it. And Cho'Gath's like, I'm like, Cho'Gath, please go back, please don't do this to me, please. She can like totally burst you down, and he's like, I'm like, no, Cho'Gath, please. And like it was like so obvious that she was in that bush, but like I don't know, I think he just like felt like trolling it after that fight or something. So I'm like, no, please, she can kill you. See, look how much damage she does. She could have like totally killed her. So like if I didn't feared there, like she could have killed him. So yeah, like he should have totally gone back. But you know, like I knew what was happening, and maybe like Cho'Gath just wasn't thinking about it at that point. But like it was obvious to me, and like sometimes things are obvious to you. Like there might be a time that's like obviously you should be fighting a team fight, and again, if your team isn't just not willing to do it, then just, you know, work with them. Like maybe he didn't, like he just for some reason was like got distracted or forgot Eve was there. Like I knew she was there, so like I can protect him and prevent her from getting that kill when she like could have gotten that kill if like no one was paying attention, I guess. Alright, so you can see we've actually recovered the gold lead from, you know, all this team fighting. Like, you could say that they're throwing, and like in some fights they were totally throwing, but like they're like part of it is just like also like what our team does. Like we are good at team fights. We have a lot of AoE, and we have a fair amount of CC. So like that's what we're very strong at. Like they're good at bursting down like stragglers and with Nocturne and Evelynn and like catching people and stuff like that, and that's what they're good at. That's their strength, and they're just trying to team fight us because they think that they're stronger than us, and that's not really, like, that's okay, like if they can execute all the team fights right, but like that's not what's happening. Here again, we're trying to control these lanes, and we're constantly thinking, okay, are these lanes pushing, or are they pushing towards the enemy, or are they pushing towards us? So that's just something you should be thinking about during team fights, and also just during the game. Where are the lanes going? What's going on in the game? You know, you have to control the lanes, or you're just gonna get, if you have a smart opponent, they're just gonna, you know, destroy you using their knowledge of how lane strategy is supposed to work. Okay, so again, we're just I don't know if we realize how much stronger, like, that we've sort of equalized. I think we have. Like, that's why we're pushing here. Like, it doesn't make any sense to push if you're, like, really far behind and it's a 5v5. So that's what we're thinking about here. We kind of want them to fight us, so I'm standing back in the back as far as, like, I can and still be, like, relevant in the team fights. So that's just something that I'm trying to do. I'm not, so you can see I'm not clumping up with the rest of my team. And that's so, the reason I'm doing this is so that if they get CC on me, then I can't use my ulti for like a fair amount of time until the CC wears off. And if I'm too far up and trying to use my ulti, they can just interrupt it, and then I won't have an ulti and will be useless in team fights. The last item that I'm trying to get is the death cap, so that's going to give me a very significant enhancement to my damage. So that's what I'm trying to get next. And we're just slowly trying to push this in. One mistake that we're making is the ranged champions need to be poking this turret, and it's like that's just something that they need to do. Like, it's really hard to do it, to expect your minions to get all the way here. Like, they're probably gonna get like around here before they get killed by the turret. So, you know, that's just something that the ranged carries need to know to do, I think. Oh, I'm thirsty. Refreshing glass of water. Okay, so here, this is a free turret, basically. They can't fight us here. If they do, they're going to lose. The only thing that's a little nerve-wracking about going for this turret is that they can potentially push mid. So, yeah, they definitely can't fight us, and they should know that, and I guess they realize that in this fight. And we're just trying to poke these towers down. We got a little bit of damage. It's like maybe we took a fifth off that one. And then the lanes got pushed back, so we're trying a little bit on this one. So, like, again, right here, the AD carries need to be poking this tower, even if they take tower damage. Like, they obviously shouldn't stick around too much, but, like, they just need to poke this tower a little bit. Like right here, like, he needs to poke a little bit on this tower instead of harassing. So yeah, like, that's how you get towers down if you don't have Baron buff. And it's even easier if you do have Baron buff. You see, I'm not really doing anything. I could try getting up here. He said he got DC here, so that's what happened. And Nocturne's gonna ult, or not? I don't know why he didn't ult in there. Maybe he just like misclicked or something, or lost vision. But that was really good play by Cho'Gath, helping us disengage as soon as Kennen died. So Kennen just, like, I don't know how they blew him up so easily, but like that's what happened. And he said he got DC'd, so like it's like pretty frustrating when that happens. Like I've had a bunch of games where like it's been like pretty laggy, so it's like really frustrating when that happens. Okay, so I'm almost all the way to my death cap. I only need like probably like 500 more gold, I think. Let's see. Nope, I need like 700 more gold, so I'm slowly getting there. It's not going to take too long. I actually got for masteries, I got the gold masteries, so it's plus, like, they buffed how much gold you get per second, and I have Kage's pick, so like it's not gonna, like, those are some like items that let me get back in the game, at least. Like other, like, Easy, you saw, like, he managed to catch up and surpass Cat in farm, so that was really important for him to do that. And that's kind of sometimes why I don't like playing the AD carry, because like you really do need to farm, and I think farming is kind of boring. So like if you like farming, AD carry is a good choice. But if you don't, like, it can be pretty boring, because you really do have to farm. Like, it makes a huge difference in how effective you are in team fights. Alright, so we're going to speed up again. At this point, if anyone gets an ace, then the game's over. So, like, it's like a pretty scary part of the game. You need to get Baron to, like, be able to push in stuff, but if you mess up at Baron, you're going to die, and the same goes for both sides. So, getting wards is a great way to sort of, like, help your team end the game and win the game. You need an Oracle and wards, and what you do is you clear this Baron pit, and you clear all the wards around it, and you ward up around it too. And that way, if the team doesn't do anything, if they just like go back to their base or something, you can get the free Baron. Or they have to face check, and you can get an easy kill off of that. So that's the idea behind getting Oracles and wards, to be able to force a Baron, basically. So basically, this is what we're doing, and they have to be pretty cautious about that. That was pretty funny. Nunu consumed Yorick's ghost, and evidently you can do that, so pretty random. And here again, we're just trying to, you know, wait out the game a bit. You can see that bottom lane is pushing towards us, and top lane is pushing towards them. So you have, like, you can't just stay mid all the time. You have to send someone down here to clear the lane. And a big mistake is to send everyone down. So it's like when you're playing soccer and your whole team like runs at the ball. That's like what happens in like children's soccer. Is like you'll be playing and then like the entire team will like run at the ball, and it'll be like this huge great pile of people trying to kick a ball. And like your team needs to realize that it's like you need to spread out, and you can't always be the one that's got the ball. You have to get it. Like by spreading out, you increase the chance of your team winning. So like basically, if everyone goes to one lane to farm, that's really inefficient, and you should spread it out so that, you know, you get more farm across the entire team and more XP. But you also have to be careful that, you know, when you're doing that, you don't get picked off. So, you know, it's just something to keep in mind. One, don't like all try to farm a lane. That's not going to work. So if you need to clear a lane, just send one person, or maybe two. You know, like if there's like 2 people down here, you can just send 2 people down there to deal with them. But yeah, like, so understand when like you need to group, which is like most of the late game, but also like when you need to clear lanes so you don't get pushed in and lose towers and inhibs. Like, you don't want to send everyone to do it usually. Okay, so here we know that we've cleared up all those all the wards around Baron. So we know they don't know like what's going on. So we're like, okay, let's do it. Let's try to get it quickly. And as soon as we see them run at us, we're like, okay, let's turn around. Let's try to get them. And Kate had to blow her cleanse and her flash there, so that was great. And now that we know that, we can, you know, potentially go back to Baron. So like, after you do a Baron once, and let's say this happens, like we could have just gone like, okay, let's go back to base. We took some damage, they took some damage, that's it. But you need to capitalize on that. So on what just happened, Kate went back to, or Kate blew all her summoners, so she's gonna be weaker in that fight. Nunu only, you know, blew his flash, so like he's not gonna be strong. Here Lulu did something great, and she managed to CC out my ulti, so that was really good on her part. I needed to make them have lose vision, so I probably need to step back here. It's a little scary because Baron's gonna focus me, but as you saw, like they completely lost that team fight. I don't like, it was like a pretty fast team fight, but like they just, you saw like they lost 3-0, and that was just like them not understanding that like we're an AoE team and we're really strong when you try to fight us like that. So they needed to not clump up. You know, like if you're fighting an AoE team, you need to separate that. And in the next replay I'm gonna do I'm gonna show you what happens when you don't clump up, and you know, finally what happens when you do clump up. Here we just like executed this a little bit poorly. The game, like, we didn't know we needed to die on this, and they couldn't stop us, but you can see like we never got Baron actually. Like our strategy was to pressure Baron, and through pressuring Baron we won the game. You saw that it was just a strategic choice. So like a lot of this game is mechanics, but when you get to like team fights and intense team fights, you need to understand how to get strategic objectives. So I hope this was informative, and it gives you a better idea of like how teams with more communication deal with team fighting and the strategic objectives, and how it really changes the game. So please remember to rate, subscribe, and comment. A bunch of people have been giving me feedback, and I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot, and I try to improve the videos and, you know, give you guys stuff that you want. So, yep, I will be posting more videos tomorrow.